Welcome back, my beautiful ghouls, to another chilling chapter of Ghouly Pleasures. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Darcy, and we are going to be reviewing Welcome to Derry, Episode 3, Now You See It.
We certainly see it.
We certainly do see it. This week's episode is directed by Andrew Bernstein. Many credits to his name, including Fear the Walking Dead. So, some good horror experience there. Episode was written by Guadalest del Carmen, who also worked on episode 1 and 2. So, some consistency, which I really appreciate. We also have Gabriel Hobson listed as a writer, and they only had one other writing credit to their name, but it was a good one.
Which one?
Midnight Mass. Yeah.
Midnight Mass I was about, but...
I mean, it's in that universe, it wasn't my favorite, but it's the horror genre, so we'll take it. There's some potential there,
Exactly.
So we're going to get into episode 3. Heads up to anyone listening, we're once again not going to be reviewing this in chronological order. We're going to go in an order that makes sense to us and is easiest to share with our audience. So we're going to start with our cold open. The one thing I think that we'll do sequentially, and this is a fair in the early 1900s where we meet a young boy named Francis, and he ends up in a horror tent.
It's a freak show.
Yeah, it's a freak show, and he sees some grotesque shit, like they were like conjoined twins, but like the way that they're conjoined at the hip is really graphic and grotesque.
Yes, like by the organs.
Yes, basically by the organs. I feel like I saw a little creature that looks like a little mini Chewbacca, though. It's like, what the hell is that? But then poor young Francis ends up in this little room where he meets the skeleton man, who's this really, really skinny, like an emaciated man who only has one eye. And it scares the shit out of young Francis, understandably. So he flees out of this tent and runs into his dad, who's a total dick.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, how dare you be scared, you little pussy.
I know. Like, man up. Like, dude, relax.
Right. He's like a 12-year-old boy who's literally in a tent meant to scare the shit out of you. Give him a break. But his dad gifts him with a slingshot, which Francis is really excited about. So they start going home, but then their car breaks down. And Francis gets out and he's going to buy some water. There are some native children and indigenous children on the side of the road selling water. So he takes out some change, but he doesn't have enough. So he's like, well, I got this slingshot. And the girl is like, bet? Cool. So he ends up giving a slingshot to this girl who we find out is named Rose, and she's an indigenous young girl. And it turns out they are actually friends.
Mm-hmm. They become friends after that moment, I'm assuming.
Perhaps. Yeah, that's probably exactly correct. They become friends. We see them playing together in a field with many other children. And then Francis has 0 survival skills because he decides he's going to run off into the woods, despite Rose in the background being like, Francis, no!
Literally screaming at him not to go further. And
here. He didn't even give her a backwards glance. He just pranced on into the deep, dark woods, and he meets the skeleton man again. But this time he's
way worse.
Way worse. He starts chasing Francis, and his body contorts, and he goes on he trips, and then he starts crawling on all 4 limbs towards Francis, and his body is contorting.
Spider limb type things. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's really sketchy, and it's not looking good for Francis, but girl power, because Rose saves the day by shooting the creature with the slingshot that Francis traded her water for, and they start making a run for it together. And our cold open ends mid-chase as the skeleton man leaps for Francis and Rose, and at the moment, it's unclear whether or not they make it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Derry has never been a good place. It wasn't like this shit randomly just started X amount of years down the line. This place has always been a shit show.
It's always been a shit show. Why do people still live there?
Literally.
The thing, children going missing every 27 years. They'd be like, maybe let's move out.
Right. But then again, remember Jeepers Creepers, where the creeper comes back every X amount of years. And for some reason, there'd be a whole bunch of people living in that area still.
Yeah. We never learn, I guess.
Truly. Never learn. But after our cold open, we head back to the present day, and we're at the dig site, the military dig site, where there, as we know, hunting to find this quote unquote weapon, which is Pennywise, essentially, from what we can tell.
Mhm.
They might not understand the capacity of that danger yet, but they know it's something dangerous, that's for sure. We find out that the car that they found at the end of last week's episode was a whole big nothing.
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah,
Friend found it for a reason.
right. We don't know what that reason is yet, though, because there's essentially no evidence in how this links to the weapon. All they can tell is that it's related to an old gang massacre, and there were reported sightings of the creature in one of its forms at the time.
Mm.
So Pennywise may have had something to do with some instigating some fear in the situation that took place at this massacre in the past. But for the purposes of what the military is doing, it's not helping them. So the general decides they got to change tactics. He wants to get closer, and he decides to send Dick Halloran up in an airplane so he can just be right on top of the whole
Yeah.
situation. He's not going alone, though. He's being accompanied by Hanlon, who we now know feels no fear. Literally. So
Good for him. Lucky.
good for him. It seems they believe he will be immune to the effects of the weapon, which is why he's accompanying our human compass, Dick, to search for it. And Polly is there.
Polly's there too.
Yeah, he's there. He has some cute, witty banter with Hanlon. They're besties, but plot-wise, at this time, poor Polly's serving no purpose. But so they're in the airplane, and Dick is sitting down as Hanlon and Polly are flying the plane, and he takes out a box, and inside the box is the slingshot from our cold open.
Mhm.
And now we're starting to connect the past and the present storylines, and Dick starts to see more visions of Francis's encounter in the woods with whatever it was with the skeleton man, the entity. And this is where we get a line from Rose where she tells Francis that it doesn't leave the woods.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, before we can even get any idea why, we shoot back to the present. So some just vague quote, oh, it doesn't leave the woods. So some kind of restriction. We don't know what's going on with it,
Yeah.
but like Rose seems
Clearly
totally
against
sure.
some point.
Right. And we'll get more into that as we talk about the episode, but I thought it was interesting. She seemed really comfortable. I was like, don't worry, we're safe now that we're here.
Mhm.
Because now, as we know in the present day, there's certainly no barriers, there's no boundaries.
Nope.
But as Rose lets us know, it doesn't leave the woods. We transition back to the present, and we see an older Rose who is still in Derry, the poor frickin' girl. Like we said, if we'd been seeing the shit that these people be seeing, we would have left Derry 84 million years ago.
84 million years ago.
It wouldn't have even been a question. It would have been,
Right out of there.
yep. It would have been like, nope, gone. 2
As
seconds.
as I can get.
For real. But Rose is at essentially a tribal meeting, and they're talking about the military dig that's going on because her tribe is very concerned that the military are going to be disturbing sacred grounds. I can't help but wonder maybe this has something to do with the boundaries that she felt were in place,
Mhm.
perhaps. But Rose kind of seems to have an ulterior motive because she very clearly expresses that she doesn't want to shut the military down completely until she knows exactly what they're doing there.
Mm.
But she suggests to the group, let's just send a cease and desist letter. Like, let them know.
Please let them know.
A very gentle, hey, don't do that here. And we'll go from there. So while that's going on, we head back over to the airplane where Dick is still holding on to that slingshot, and he's coming out of this vision from the past. But during this time that he's been having the vision, Hanlon and Polly have been kind of freaking out because Dick basically looks like he's having a seizure, right?
Yes, he's definitely having an episode and they're freaking out a little bit. He's not responsive at all.
Exactly. And then once he finally does, come out of this episode, he stands up. And of course, Hanlon and Polly can't see, only we as the audience can see that he's entered this nightmarish vision.
Mhm.
And it looks like he's in the sewers. Would you say that?
I thought it was the sewers from the It movies where all the children was appeared to.
Perfect. Okay. That's exactly what I thought. So he's in these sewers and he sees this old, so what, circus kind of fair. What would you call that? Like a wagon almost. It's like a fair booth, right?
I don't remember that.
Would you have to remember because it says Pennywise on it.
I missed that completely.
Oh my God.
I missed
So
that
he
completely.
gets there and it's some fair little, wagon or booth, whatever. But the important part is that on it literally says Pennywise.
Wow.
Yes, girl.
Did I
Is
have to
this
look
the
at
first time?
That's crazy.
Is this the first time in this in this show that they've mentioned the name Pennywise?
Yeah, we have not heard the name Pennywise at all.
Okay, so this must be the
It
first
hasn't, like,
time.
even come to fruition yet in the story. He's
Gotcha.
just an entity of fear.
Right. So we see this like fair booth, says Pennywise, and then all of a sudden these yellow eyes appear in the dark and they're looking right at Dick. And it's probably Pennywise. And it wants to know who Dick is. Basically, straight up is like, who are you? As it's staring him dead in the face. And you start to see this face of presumably Pennywise, and it's like a masquerade mask kind of face at this point in the form that he's in. And we don't really see much of him though, because then we start to transition into like different imagery, like toys start raining down from the ceiling.
Yep.
Like dolls and like doll houses, and Dick sees a vision of war and like people dying, and then his grandma is floating in the ceiling. Like we've seen in many iterations of the It movies where the children will float in the air. His grandma is floating in the air, and she, very kindly turns and moves towards her grandson and tells him basically to get the hell out of here while he can, because it's coming.
It's coming.
And Dick was raised well, so he knows to listen to his grandma. He's not a dumbass. And he turns and starts trying to open this latch in the sewer. But in reality, he's undoing a latch in the plane, which opens the back of the plane. So the plane is in midair. Dick has opened the back of the plane, and then he starts walking. Like he's going to walk himself right out of the plane. But he's lucky, because Hanlon's there, and Hanlon saves his goddamn ass.
Literally.
Like, I would never let that man leave my side again. You're hired.
He could have gotten
bodyguard.
He could have gotten them all killed.
Right, bro. Oh my god. He's lucky. They're all lucky that all his vision was like kind of prompting him to do was self-exit and not take the whole plane down, but still really scary. And Dick is obviously very freaked out and haunted by this whole experience. And he lets the general know afterwards, like, maybe this is a bad idea.
Yeah, like maybe like it wasn't supposed to notice us. The plane is this is not a good idea.
Right. It was one thing when we were just looking for it, but now it knows that we're here. So that doesn't feel good.
Nope.
And the general kind of remains, I feel like, outwardly calm, but like you can see in his expression that he's troubled.
But I don't think he's going to stop. It's not going to stop. He's very determined.
I agree. And this moment actually gets a little more context in the next scene we're going to talk about, because the general goes to visit Rose, the indigenous girl from our cold open vision, and that Dick saw when he held
the slingshot.
The slingshot. Thank you. I don't use slingshots. It's not at the forefront of my vocabulary.
The slingshot before?
I don't think I ever actually used a slingshot in my life.
What?
I know, it's kind of depressing. Use like those rubber bands where you would like use your fingers as a slingshot.
But technically, that's a slingshot, just not a physical one. You've made one.
It's not the same though. Obviously, it's not the same. Exactly. It's not a weapon. It's different. It's different. But so the general goes to visit Rose, and this is where we learn Rose, who's running a shop, sees the general, and she recognizes him. The general is Francis, the boy from our cold open, the boy whose father gifted him the slingshot, who Dick has also been seeing visions of when he holds the slingshot.
And Rose is actually the woman who runs the antique shop that Ham's wife went to get the telescope.
Really good catch. Did we see her? Is she face blindness?
Face blindness. She was definitely in the episode when the wife came in. She was like, my husband came here to get the telescope.
And she was giving her like meaningful looks like, oh, we can stay open a little late for you.
Exactly.
Wow. I think I really need to get diagnosed. Oh my God. So scary, bro. But so the general meets with Rose, and we find out that he got her cease and desist letter. And it turns out that he basically had totally forgotten his experience in Derry. He didn't start remembering it till he came back here. And he didn't remember poor Rose's name until he got her cease and desist letter.
Yep. And it all started coming back. Interesting how that works for Rose.
Right.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Yes.
It's normal. Don't you worry about it. Happens all the time.
Yep. When they were young, I felt like they had a little bit of a fling going on.
Oh, 100%.
And then his father was getting deployed and he was like, Rose, don't forget me. And she gave him such a pitying look like, everyone who leaves forgets, bro. Sorry. And he did just that. He forgot all about it, forgot about her. But I feel like there's a little tension in this relationship, like a little unresolved tension.
I would definitely say so.
Okay, good, good. God, I'm not crazy. But Rose essentially is like, look, what are you doing over there? She wants to know, as we already know, she doesn't want to stop this dig yet. She wants to know what's going on. And General Francis lies and just says, they're soil surveying.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing suspicious, nothing to worry about. And Rose lets him know about her concerns about disturbing sacred grounds. So General Francis says, well, you know what? Let's work together. You can tell us what areas to avoid. Everyone can be happy here. And Rose is like, okay, well, I can't make any promises, but I'll take it to the council. We'll put it to a vote and I'll let you know. It was really, I feel like the biggest twist so far of the show.
Yeah. Seeing Shaw, he has a history with Derry personally. So if he's
Right.
experienced this fear, he
Right.
knows something.
Exactly. And now that his like memories are all starting to come back, I wonder how that's affecting how, like, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a general in the US Army, so he can't really go back on any orders that are directed at him. But you gotta wonder if he's giving any pushback to the top because he's gotta know that this isn't gonna go well.
I think he's the one who's initiating this. Like, he wants this weapon of fear.
Oh my, well, yeah, you're right. That would have to make sense because how would anyone else know?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's so weird because he also said he didn't remember anything until he came back, though.
Mhm, that's true.
Oh, now I'm
Maybe.
really curious. What prompted the whole thing, truly? Who brought them here? Who's like saying, let's do this? I want to know. I want to know. I don't think we'll find that out. I feel like that might never be something that we learn.
Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see
Right.
how the progresses.
Yeah. After this, we're going to switch back over to Dick and Hanlon because, you know, after their crazy experience, they're getting to know each other a little better.
Hmm.
Dick visits Hanlon's house where he's having dinner and he's chatting with Hanlon's wife, and they're all getting along well. But Will, Hanlon's son, is MIA, and Dick notices this and asks, yo, Hanlon, am I going to get to meet your son? But the only catch is Hanlon never told Dick that he has a son.
Mhm.
So from this point on, you can definitely see Hanlon giving Dick the side eye. Like, what's going on here?
Mhm. If he wasn't before, he definitely is now.
Right, exactly. He essentially straight up calls him out on it. Like, bro, what are you doing? And as Dick lets him know, like, you know, I might have this kind of little gift. Hanlon's pretty receptive to it, actually.
Mhm. Surprisingly.
Yeah, he's like, I've heard about, you know, people like that while I was growing up. I never personally met one, but, you know, I've heard of it. And then he straight up goes from being like receptive to clocking Dick using his gifts on him in
Mhm.
two very specific moments.
He could feel it.
Yep. He said, when we were in there eating dinner and you asked about my son, you used it on me then. And then back when I was being attacked, you used it on me then too, huh? And this is when it's revealed that Dick was actually in the room when Hanlon was attacked a
Yes, I
few
remember.
episodes
I
ago.
remember. I noticed that
Yeah.
he was staring at the other guy in the room very meaningfully. So, like, he
Yes.
felt something there.
Yes. What a great catch you had. So that guy standing in the corner, not participating in the attack,
Mhm.
just observing it, that was Dick. And I think we get from this that Dick was probably there so that he could get inside Hanlon's mind and read him and see how he reacted to the situation.
Mhm.
And Dick essentially says, you're fucked up because in that situation where there was a gun to your head and you should have been like freaking out and at least internally thinking about your loved ones and everything that you didn't want to leave behind, you were just analyzing the situation.
Mhm.
Cold and detached, no fear. So I guess that is the true reason why Hanlon passed the general's test.
Yep, that
Yep.
was the whole reason.
Exactly. It wasn't just, it was almost like when it was initially revealed, oh, that was a test. You could have taken it as when he confronted the general and was like, oh, I know it's not masters. Like coming forward and saying that might have been the test. But truly, the test had already been done and finished
Mhm.
because Dick
Exactly.
was there. Dick was the one putting out the test, giving the results. And he passed with flying colors. So Dick doesn't want to be in Hanlon's head again, which works because Hanlon says, stay the fuck out of my head from now on.
He's like,
So
"Okay, no problem."
Exactly. He's like, okay, no worries. I don't want to be there. But you know what? Your lack of fear would kind of be lit in the situation we're in now. And I feel pretty safe with you. So even though I know we're not on the greatest terms, like, I'm willing to go to war with you.
Mhm.
There's a little tension there, but I feel like there's some mutual respect.
Definitely.
And I look forward to seeing how it progresses. There's got to be some tension as it progresses because Hanlon is a logical person, especially since he's not doing this based on fear. Presumably, a logical person, once he starts seeing what's going on, he's going to be like, not out of fear. He's just going to be out of logic. Like, hey, I think this is a bad idea. And like when the person with no fear says that, like, you might stop to listen, but they won't.
I feel like since he doesn't have fear and he would encounter these things, he'd probably be more logical in the way of, okay, how do we beat this? Instead
Mm,
of shouldn't mess with this.
right. Will be interesting because we know he's very logical, but we don't know totally how his brain works. Although, really consistently with his wife, who we've learned over the last few episodes is really kind of into activism.
Yeah, she wants to join the movement and he does not want her to do that.
Right. Hanlon's idea this whole time has been let's lay low. Let's not rock the boat.
Hmm.
So I wonder how that kind of mindset will play into his logic as he finds out more about what's going on.
Yeah, but that mindset is also if he doesn't want to rock the boat because he's trying to advance his position in the military. So if he works with the military for this cause of trying to weaponize this fear, he's going to work with the military to try to figure out how to get it to work for them.
Right. It's totally possible. I just have to see how it works out in the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. Be interesting.
Cutting back to the children.
Cutting back to the children, we see our poor girl Lily, who has been institutionalized, and she's finally getting out.
I'm
Good for
surprised we
her.
get more of her in that place. I thought we were going to get an episode about her experience there, but I'm surprised she's just out the next day. Well,
I
not the next.
agree. Honestly, I think it's kind of, I understand for the purpose of progressing the plot itself, but it would have been an interesting opportunity character wise and an opportunity to show some more horror scenes. Like,
Yeah,
you could have, when someone's locked up against their will in an institution, like, how much more vulnerable and helpless can they be?
that
I'm just saying, that's the time for fear to strike. But we really don't see anything else. Lily gets released from the institution and she goes right back to school. The only thing we know from her time at the institution is that her meds have been upped. So I'm
mm,
not sure if that'll play a factor in the
well, yeah.
just throwing that in just in case. But Lily goes back to school and she's on a mission because she feels super bad about what happened with Ronnie's dad and she wants to help prove that he's innocent. The only problem is that if she tells the police what she saw, everyone's going to think she's crazy.
Yep, they're going to send her right back there, right
Right.
back to the asylum.
They already think she's crazy. So they're going to be like, maybe we need to talk about a more permanent stay or something, you know? So she tells Ronnie that they need proof. And she's got a great idea. She's like, bro, I got a camera. I guess that would be the logical way to go about it. I got a
Yeah,
camera. Let's do some ghost hunting. And Ronnie's here for it. The only catch is how do they develop the camera roll? Because, like,
they do it.
right. If they're successful, were you just going to bring this camera roll into any random store and have some grown up start going through the roll and finding God knows what? They can't do that. So they need someone else who can help them develop the film roll. And this is how our new group starts coming together.
The new loser club is forming.
Exactly. Because our little science boy, Will, is their go to person to develop the camera roll.
My son.
Yes, Will. And with Will comes his new buddy, Rich. They're officially, an item,
Yes.
so to speak. One comes with the other. You can't get one without the other. And it works out for them because Will is totally not believing what the girls are putting down. He's a very, as we know, science-based person. He's not going to believe in the supernatural. But as everyone's talking and sharing their experiences, the girls are letting the boys know, like, there's this monster and we don't know what it is, but it pretends to be the people that we love. And Rich chimes in to let them know that it's an Oricha, right? Oricha? Am I
Mhm.
pronouncing that right? And it's essentially like an evil spirit that is used to scare people. And allegedly, the scarier ones will take the form of loved ones to really freak people out. And everyone's in luck because Rich knows how to summon one.
What do you know? Good old. Wow.
Good old Rich coming through because his uncle taught him.
Mhm.
And immediately the girls are like, cool, let's do it. So they're in a graveyard. Great choices.
I guess you have to be in a graveyard for this particular thing to work.
Right. I mean, I don't know where else you would go, but like they're in a graveyard at night, sitting in a circle, doing a ritual, the stereotypical ritual that you would imagine. And it's just like, can you imagine walking by and seeing a group of 12-year-olds doing this?
Sitting in a circle with candles about, just chanting.
I would,
Like, you know what? Not my problem.
right. I would honestly leave so fast. I'd be like, whatever is about to happen, I don't want to be
I
involved.
don't be
Bye.
here for it. I don't.
Nope.
I'm not involved.
Nope. Not me. Take them. If they're fucking with it, they can keep it. Bye. But Reach starts taking them through the ritual, and there's a rule, like pretty much all supernatural rules, like, hey, if we start something in a circle, don't leave the circle until it's gone. Cool. No problem. Everyone's happy to follow that rule, except Rich.
Who's that?
He needs to pee, which I get. That would be me in this situation.
I'd be like, Darcy, you're gonna have to pee yourself because you're not leaving the circle.
Like, we better end it now because I gotta pee. But Rich he doesn't even say anything. He just gets up and starts leaving. And everyone's like, where are you going? What about the rule? Don't leave the circle. He's like, oh, it's okay. My cousin said as long as you come back fast, it's fine. And everyone was already a little suspicious. But
Yeah.
this is the moment where everyone realizes that Rich is full of shit.
Yeah. Rich don't know what the hell he's doing.
Period.
He
Not a
don't know
single clue.
what's going on. He's just making stuff up. I wonder how much of this actually he knows.
Legit. Like, we should look up Oricha. Is it even a real thing? Maybe he made that up.
He doesn't even have an uncle.
Right? Probably. Wouldn't even be surprised. He's a compulsive liar at this point. But everyone's had enough. They're like, okay, this is bullshit. So now everyone gets up from the circle and it's completely broken. Great. We're doing so great here.
These kids are making great decisions.
Great life choices. The girls, Ronnie and Lily, start biking away, and Rich and Will get their bikes and start biking after them. And they don't see it, but the little candle that they had lit blows out
Mhm.
on its own. Or, maybe it was the wind.
Could have been the wind.
Could have been the wind. We can't say it wasn't the wind, but the wind certainly didn't make the Jesus statue smile in turn.
No. I don't think that was the wind.
If it was a strong ass wind. Like, what the hell? And things really go downhill very fast from there because the ground literally starts like collapsing underneath them. It's like hell is opening up beneath them.
Literally, the grounds open up. The spirits are abound, chasing the
Yes.
graveyard.
Yes. Ghosts, spirits, they're chasing them. And these spirits are the children from episode 1 who died. Our original little crew, who we thought was going to be our core group, and instead all died. We see their spirits. Maddie's spirit is there. And I think, actually, you know what? Rich might have had an uncle because I did write down, like, I think that's Rich's uncle's spirit at one point. Like,
He calls out. He says,
yeah,
"Heal."
okay. Good. I wasn't crazy. Yes. So all these spirits are chasing them. And thankfully, these kids are smart on their feet. And Lily decides to pull out her camera as she's riding on a bike, dodging
I was like, somebody get this camera now.
Right. Look, these kids had a mission and they knew what they needed to do. The ground is falling apart. They're being chased by spirits, but Lily whips out that freaking camera and takes a picture. But the goddamn thing,
Immediately drops the camera.
it snags on a freaking branch, gone. And she's like, well, I can't go back.
Absolutely not. But
And
they
like,
do this little relay with the camera. This sequence is really fun.
yes, Ronnie gets it next. She snags it off the tree. She takes a picture because she's like, one ain't enough, bitch. Here's another picture. And then she drops it. And then I think Rich picks it up
Rich.
next off the ground as he's riding his bike by. He snaps a pic. And while this is all going on, poor Will, our non-believer, falls off his bike when a spirit scares the shit out of him. Understandably, as one would do.
Yeah.
So
Valid.
he's like kind of just like hanging around on the ground, like, what the fuck is happening, bro? And as Richie rides by him on his bike being chased by ghosts, he also drops the camera. And this time, Will picks it up. And now all the other kids have fleed on their bikes out of the cemetery. And poor Will, here on foot, is chilling by himself. And there's a figure in like a crypt behind him that like moves through the doorway. And he doesn't see it, but he sees something out
He
of the
sees
corner of his eye.
something. He gets the camera.
Yep. He takes that camera and says, "Bet, I'm gonna follow you." So this crazy boy goes into this like little crypt area, and I don't know what he sees entirely, but what I saw was like a clown-like hand
Mm,
just coming out of the darkness. And Will snaps a photo. Bless. Every single child snapped a photo.
yes,
They might
this
have.
so good.
Yeah.
It was giving goosebumps. It was giving,
Yes.
"Are you afraid of the dark?" Like, it wasn't scary because, like, even, like, the CGI of the ghosts flying and their heads in blue flames, I'm like, "This is silly," but I'm having a
Yes.
great 'cause it's just, like, the relay of the kids getting the camera, taking their picture, trying to
Yes.
escape. It was so fun. It really
Right.
brought me back times like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark and those type of shows that you watched as kids.
Yeah. Even the CGI, you're right. The CGI had that feel to it as well. They
Mhm.
weren't going for intense. They were going for it felt very fun. I liked it. And poor Will snaps this photo. And then while everyone's waiting for him outside of the cemetery, he finally makes his escape, going way too slow for my
He was
liking.
walking the bike. Get on the
Yeah,
bike. Why are
right?
you walking it? What's wrong with the
Like,
bike? Get on the
after everything you've seen, and you're gonna walk that bike? He's a little crazy. I love him, but he's
That's
crazy.
my son. I love him.
Yep. I love him, but I would have been screaming at him. And everyone's really, happy. He's not dead. And there's a beautiful group hug.
I know. The Losers Club is formed.
Yes.
These are our core kids.
In this moment, I was like, if they kill these children, I'll never forgive them.
How could they survive, though? Pennywise comes back every 27 years, and
They
we don't
can't.
know where these kids are, well, most of them.
Right. Well, hopefully, everyone is as far away from Derry as they could possibly get, and they've forgotten about it and never will go back. But anyways, they've all made it out of the cemetery and they sneak into the school so they can develop the camera roll. And it's a roaring success. They have multiple photos of spirits of the children from episode 1. So
Mhm.
here's proof. The whole issue and well, other than race, the whole reason they thought they could pin it on Ronnie's dad is because there were no bodies. There was just a lot of blood. And now here they have these pictures of those children's spirits.
Mhm.
If this was 2025, that wouldn't fly. It would be AI.
That would be AI. This is computer generated. You ask ChatGPT to generate these images for you.
Exactly.
But still, at the same time, in this time, like, if they take these pictures to the police, what are the police gonna do?
Right. What happens?
Yeah.
Like in theory, I understand what they were going for.
Yeah, absolutely.
In reality, the police aren't going to get the shit.
They aren't.
Like, okay, what was this? When did you take it?
So the kids are alive? They're not gonna be like, "These are spirits." They'd be like, "So where are the kids? Where are you
Right.
keeping?" It could be
Right.
that.
Right. I'll be really interested to see if they take these to the cops and how it plays out. But maybe someone else will get them first. Maybe they'll take them somewhere else.
I hope so, because clearly we can't trust the police in this town. They already think they got their guy. They don't
Yeah.
care about
No, they
trying to
don't care.
investigate further. They do not care.
Right. We already saw they basically took Lily's arm and twisted it behind her back to help convict Ronnie's dad. They didn't care if what she was saying was true or not. They just wanted their man,
Mhm.
and they got him right now. So it'll take a lot to change their mind, for sure.
Mhm.
So I don't think these pictures will do it. But the last image that we see is a clown.
Yep, the
Dun, dun,
photo
dun.
slowly develops, and you see it slowly coming into the picture, just the silhouette of a clown.
Yep. So Pennywise is basically here now.
He is manifested. He's here. He's
Yep.
in his true final form.
He's awake and he knows now that people are looking for him and he's
Yep.
interested, I think.
Mm.
He's coming out to play.
You think we're gonna get Bill Skarsgård in the next episode? Or do you think they're gonna hold off more?
Maybe they'll hold off a teeny bit more because, I mean, we're only on episode 3 and there are
Yeah,
going to
there's
be like
so
8
great
episodes.
anticipation because, like,
Yeah,
we're all waiting for him to show up.
right.
And I wonder how they're gonna do it.
Right. I think things will amp up in the next episode because we saw Dick freaking out because now Pennywise saw him and obviously the kids,
Mhm.
were seen by Pennywise as well. So I think there might be less passive hauntings. Like so far, it's just been like in dreams and everything. I think it'll be a little more aggressive now.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna he's going to be on the offense now.
Yes. And I'm interested to see if Dick will be haunted in any way by Pennywise as well. Because, I mean, Pennywise looked him dead in the eyes and was like, "Who are
Yeah.
you?"
Well, I don't think it's the end of his haunting yet.
Right, right,
Pennywise already seen him. He's going to come back and be like, what's this about?
right. And I mean, it's always fun with the kids and seeing them go through shit, but like, I want to see the adults
Oh,
go
yeah.
through some shit too.
Because maybe they'll show the photos to the major, because that's, his father. So maybe he'll see that and they'll do something about it. Bring it straight to the military. Skip the police.
At this point, hell yeah, go to the military. Although they'll be like, "Where'd you find it? We used to it. Take us."
True.
They'll just lead the kids into even deeper danger. But they are the only ones who would believe them. So maybe something will be, slipped in, or maybe Dick will somehow meet Will and be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm feeling a vibe off you. Have you experienced this lately?" But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with those pictures. And I don't know. I really look forward to seeing the adults suffer.
Yeah, it's the adults' turns now. Like, I've seen the children suffer enough.
Right. I saw an interview with the actor who plays Dick Halloran, and he was basically saying, he saw like the kid actors, and he was basically like praising their acting choices. But more importantly, he was like, "I saw these kids acting in scenes, and I was like, oh my God, if I was a parent, I would never let my kid do that." 'Cause it was like they're acting out these scenes that are so traumatizing. He's like, that
Mm,
shit's gotta stay with you. I'm
especially
like,
at a young age. Yeah.
right? It don't take much to traumatize you when you're that age. So, they should be in therapy. That's all I'm saying. They should be in therapy. Hopefully everything's green screened.
I wonder how much they see. Probably in our,
Right.
like, can't show all the CG, like the birth sequence. I'm sure she didn't see that in real time.
I would hope not. But like, I think the scariest part would be like the people who are looking a certain way, like whoever played Ronnie's mom
Hmm.
in the episode where she was giving birth, reverse birth to her, and Pennywise is going to be scary.
He's always scary.
Yes, and, like, I love Bill Skarsgård, but he's super tall, he's, like, 6'4", and just, like, seeing that makeup on a man who's 6'4" has gotta be terrifying.
Seeing a man that tall in general is scary to me.
Seeing a man in general is scary to me. But, yeah, so those poor kids,
Yeah. They're
we would
only
have lived. We would have had so much fun.
If I was a child actor in a horror thing, I would have so much fun. Like, I would just, it's my dream.
Right? I'd be one of those people who commits to the genre. I only wanna do horror from now
Literally.
on.
I am,
Make me your scream queen. But yeah, so I feel like there was some movement this episode.
yeah, we got the kids actively investigating now instead of just reacting to strange things around
Right.
them.
Exactly. They're taking on a overall so far very proactive role. And there's no doubt from any member in the core group because Will, who expressed some doubts, is now fully on board. He apologized to Ronnie and Lily because he initially didn't believe them when they were
Mhm.
telling him about all this crazy shit that was happening. But now he's seen it and he understands. So he's on board. And I think for the adults, key relationship is going to be Dick and Hanlon moving forward.
Yeah.
And they're now officially on board. And so we got, the compass, which is Dick, and then we have the person who's immune to the effects, which is Hanlon, and they're working together. So now they can kind of coordinate their talents and efforts into finding this weapon officially.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we're on episode 3 of 8. So we still got plenty of room for them to honestly, just with the way things have gone so far, I don't even know if they need 8 episodes. What do you think?
Since we're still so early into the season, I don't know how much more they're going to give us. So I feel
Right.
like episodes is fine. I don't know how
Yeah.
much, like, we don't know. I have no idea where the story is going to go from here.
Right. It feels like so much is literally we just finished laying the official groundwork.
Mhm.
Key characters, key relationships and dynamics set up, and now they're really getting
Now,
into
beginning, Pennywise has just appeared.
right. Exactly. He's just entered the playing field. Good luck to all the characters.
Good luck to y'all. I'm gonna be over here.
Yep. Doping the fuck out of a situation like this. No thanks.
So that was our recap of episode 3 of Welcome to Derry. I think we both enjoyed this episode. I would say not as scary or as like messed up as the last 2 episodes. But I
Yeah.
thought it was fun and I thought it was a good way to move the plot forward.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, less focused on the horror aspects, but very successful in moving the plot forward as well. Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.